Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Chantel, and today we're going to talk about books, as usual. Today's video is going to be a kind of a haul video slash sort of, I wouldn't call it a March TBR. What I'm going to call it is a pile of possibilities for March. As I've said in previous videos, I don't do well with TBRs. I don't like setting lists for myself, or like really specific lists for myself for a certain period of time. I'm not good at that. I'm primarily a mood reader. So while there are going to be several books on this list that I would say are definitely like, I am going to read these in March, I definitely would not. A lot of these are just going to be sort of possibilities that I'm going to be pulling from for March. So that's where we're at. And also I do have a book haul because I bought some books, and I also have some library books. So I got a little bit of a library book haul and a little bit of a purchased a book haul, because Book Outlet had a sale going, and I had that crazy combination of a sale and a coupon for even more money off, and so I ended up buying a bunch of books from Book Outlet. And no, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the books that I purchased from Book Outlet, because these are not, I would say, strictly books on my TBR or even necessarily my pile of possibilities for March. These are just books that I'm planning to read sometime in the nebulous near future. I bought 7 books from Book Outlet. The first one is one that I've actually already read, and I just decided to add it to my collection because I liked it, and that's Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is the first in the Between Earth and Sky trilogy. And yeah, I really like it. I read it a year ago maybe or so. I don't know. It's been a little while, but I really enjoyed it. And since this was one of the ones that was on sale at Book Outlet for like $6, I snapped it up because, yeah, I like it, and I might reread it because I'm planning, I would like to soon read the next book in this trilogy, so I might very well do a reread of this soon. So yeah, this is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. And then next, I bought The Cloisters by Katy Hayes. This is, I believe, like a dark academia book. It's set in the Cloisters, which is a real place. But yeah, I think it's like a thriller-ish thing. It might have some dark fantasy elements to it. I don't know. It sounds really cool and interesting and atmospheric, which is very much up my alley. So yeah, I grabbed this one. The next book that I bought is The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. And I've heard a lot about this on BookTube. This seems to be almost kind of a like a dark fairy tale, almost sort of story about, yeah, it's about a man whose wife is very secretive and uncovering these secrets threatens their marriage and possibly threatens his life. So it sounds really interesting. Sounds like sort of dark, gothic, fairy tale-esque kind of thing, which I'm super into. So yeah, got that one. And then I picked up, this is The Other Bennet Sister by Janice Hadlow. This is a retelling slash sequel to Pride and Prejudice from the perspective of Mary Bennet, the middle sister, the quiet, bookish pianist. And I am really particular about specifically Jane Austen retellings and like basically published Jane Austen fan fiction. I like it. I tend to like it a lot more in theory than I do in practice, but I have heard really good things about this particular retelling / sequel. So I have high hopes that it will not be a disappointment and will in fact accurately capture the feel of what I think of as a Jane Austen novel, and that it will work for me. I'm really hoping it does. A lot of people I know who are also very picky about their Jane Austen fanfiction say that this is a really good one. So I'm hoping that this will work for me. So yeah, this is just like a historical fiction. It's not fantasy or anything like that. Yeah, that's The Other Bennet Sister by Janice Hadlow. I also picked up Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. So this is a fun one. Sounds like there's the main character is a character who goes around killing gods or demigods, and then she meets someone, I don't know, something about she can't kill a god that she can't kill for some reason because of plot or something. So it sounds really fun. It sounds really interesting. I like the premise, and it's also not super long, so this should be an enjoyable one that I am looking forward to giving a shot. And then I grabbed Circe by Madeline Miller. This is quite popular, and it's of course a retelling of the story of Circe from the Odyssey, from the perspective of Circe. So yeah, this should be really interesting. I'm interested in getting into more sort of Greek retellings, especially these sorts of feminist retellings. So I am really curious about this one, and we'll be looking forward to digging in. And then finally, from my book outlet haul, I picked up Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. This is the first in a trilogy by him, and yeah, the Dark Star trilogy, I believe, is what this is called. And this is actually Marlon James is on one of my sort of reading challenges for the year. The Storygraph reads the World Challenge. One of the countries to read from is Jamaica, and Marlon James is Jamaican. So I stuck this on there because I've been sort of meaning to look into this for a while. And I know this is a pretty big chonker of a book. So I will probably be trying to get to this, if not in March, possibly in April. This is definitely one that I'm going to be trying to get to quickly. So that is my haul from Book Outlet. I've also been swimming in a lot of library holds coming around. As you will see next week when I do my February wrap-up video, most of my February reads are actually library reads, and so I've had a lot of holds come in from the library. So I actually have the next 3 books are all library books, and these are the next 3 books on my TBR. I will be reading these immediately because they're library books. So first up is The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Katherine Arden. So this is her new release. This is I believe it's like a dark fantasy historical fiction set during World War I, which is great. I love anything set during World War I. I love the cover. I love the title. The title itself, honestly, is enough to make me want to read this. So yeah, I'm really quite excited to be reading this. I've actually never read a book by Katherine Arden. I know her The Bear and the Nightingale trilogy is really popular. It's been on my radar for a while. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but I think I'm really looking forward to dipping my toes into her writing with this, what I believe is just a standalone novel. So I'm looking forward to this. This is next up on my to be read. And then after that, I'm going to be reading Son of Blood and Ruin by Marielle Lares, I think is how you say her name. This is a Zorro retelling or remix or something. It's supposedly like based on Zorro with Mesoamerican mythology, and the protagonist is Lady Sorceress. And that's really all I know about this. It just that in and of itself is enough to sell me on it. and the cover, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm willing to give this a shot. That's the thing for me with library books, is like, because it's a library book, it doesn't cost me anything. I'm much more willing to just sort of take a look at the cover, the title, read a quick premise of it, and just be like, yeah, sure, that sounds okay, I'll give that a shot. Since it's a library book, you know? So if I don't like it, that's fine. If I do like it, hey, I found a new favorite, right? So, and I'd have no problem DNFing a library book if I really don't like it, if it's not working for me. But I think this probably will. This sounds really fun. And then the last library book I have is Sanctuary of the Shadow by Aurora Ascher. This is, I believe, a romantasy with like a circus setting. I'm a little bit hit and miss with romantasy. Romantasy is another one of those genres that I tend to like it more in theory than in practice. And so, hence checking this one out from the library instead of buying it, because I don't know if I'll like it or not. If it works for me, then it really works. When it doesn't, it definitely doesn't. It's going to depend on a lot of different factors. But again, I'm willing to give it a shot. It's a library book. It costs me nothing but whatever time I spend actually reading it. So it's no big deal if I like it or don't like it. But I'm definitely willing to give it a shot and give it a try. I like a circus setting. And again, I do like a romantasy, as long as it hits the right notes for me. Yeah, so we'll see how we go with that one. So those are my, absolutely 100% up next books that I'm absolutely going to be reading next, at the beginning of January. I have another couple of books that I'm absolutely planning to read in January, 100%, no matter what. And that is, first off, as I said in my last sort of TBR video, absolutely going to be reading the Cleopatra biography by Stacy Schiff by the end of March for Historathon 2024. March is the last month of Q1, and so I absolutely am going to read this and get it done in March. So that's absolutely going to happen. Another one that I'm absolutely 100% going to read is Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray. This is for the Mammoth of March, or March of the Mammoths, or something like that. March, it's a readathon going on for March where we read really big books. Vanity Fair is a really big book. It's a big chunker, so I'm definitely going to be reading this. This is my classic pick for the month of March. And I'm super looking forward to it. So I guess those 5 books, the 3 library books and then the Cleopatra and Vanity Fair, are absolutely books I'm going to be reading in March. So if nothing else, I will absolutely be reading those 5 books in March. Beyond that, presumably, hopefully, I should be able to get those 5 books read by the end of March, I should think. I would hope. At the rate I'm going, I will, with no problem. And beyond that, my focus in March is going to be sort of continuing and finishing series, trilogies, duologies that I have started. Because I have a lot that are sort of in progress, and I kind of have a problem when it comes to, I'll read the first book in a trilogy or a duology or a series and be like, boy, that was really great. I need to read the next one soon, but not immediately because I'm not really a binge reader. I don't like to binge series. I do like to, you know, sort of read one, then read a couple of other things, then read the next one. But then I also tend to forget to read the next one for sometimes months or even years for no reason other than just I forget about it or whatever. So I've been trying in February, I've been trying to continue some series and trilogies and whatnot. And you'll see that in my February wrap up because I have done a couple in February, which is good. And in March, I want to keep that train going. So my pile of possibilities for the rest of March is almost all series, trilogies, duologies that I started but haven't continued or am not caught up with yet. So that's really where I'm at here. So for instance, A Power Unbound is still sitting here waiting for me to read it. This is the final book in the Last Binding trilogy. So I absolutely want to get to this very soon. Again, these are all just possibilities. I may or may not actually get to them in March. Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands is another one that is, you know, sort of sitting here calling my name. As it's, you know, obviously it's the sequel to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. So I'm very interested in reading this one soon. Also, the next book in the Discworld series is, you know, a potential. So that's Sorcery by Terry Pratchett. The next one in the History of Middle-earth series, as I mentioned in a previous video, which is The Return of the Shadow, is also a possibility. It's been a couple months since I've read one of these, so might pick this one up. I have a bunch of others that I actually wrote down in my notebook, because these are like library checkouts. The next Star Wars The High Republic novel that I have to read is Convergence by Zoraida Cordova, I believe is her name. That's the next one in that series. So I may very well get to that in March. I have a few others. For instance, so Fevered Star by Rebecca Roanhorse. Again, that's the sequel to Black Sun and the second in the Between Earth and Sky trilogy. I believe the third and final book, Mirrored Heavens, is going to be coming out this year, so I might want to get on that and read Fevered Star. Also, Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is the prequel to Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I read that in January, so I might want to try Bookshops and Bone Dust, just to check it off my list. I really liked Legends and Lattes, so, you know, I'll give it a shot. Also, A Desolation Called Peace by Arkady Martin, which is the second and I think final book in the Tex-Kalan duology that began with A Memory Called Empire. I read A Memory Called Empire last year. Really loved it. It's great. So definitely have A Desolation Called Peace on my radar. Also, The Dragon Republic by Rebecca Kwong, the second book in the Poppy War trilogy. Again, I read the Poppy War like last year. Really liked it. It might have been even a 2022 read, actually. But like, I want to get back to it. So I really do want to get back to it. Also, The God of Lost Words by A.J. Hackwith. This is the third and final book in the Hell's Library trilogy. I actually read the second book in that trilogy in February. I'll be talking about that next week in my February wrap-up video, but I do want to finish that. Also, Ancillary Mercy by Anne Leckie. This is the third and final book in the Imperial Rad trilogy. I read the first two a really long time ago, and then for some reason I just never got to the third one. I really have to do that. I really, really want to do that one. A couple of others. Paladin's Strength by T. Kingfisher. This is the second book in the Saint of Steel series that began with Paladin's Grace, which I read, again, a couple of years ago, and I've never followed up on it. I don't know why. Paladin's Grace was really fun. I loved it. I love the main characters in that book, and I really want to read more about them, so, like, what's stopping me? I don't know. Also, Storm Song by C.L. Polk. I read another C.L. Polk story, novella in February. That'll be in my video next week. And I read the first in this trilogy. It's called The Kingston Cycle. The first book was called Witchmark. I read that one, like, around the same time as I read the first book in the Last Binding trilogy, actually. And it's another one of these that's sort of magical. It's a secondary world fantasy, I believe, but it's Edwardian based. It's sort of based on the Edwardian time period, and it's queer, kind of romantic-y sort of thing. It was super fun. I liked it a lot, and again, I just never got around to the next one. So yeah, those are my pile of possibilities for March. Again, I don't anticipate or expect to get to all of these books in March. These are just some of the books that I'm planning on or thinking about possibly reading in March. But yeah, I do want to knock out some more of these sort of series, these trilogies, these duologies, before I start new things. There's a lot of new things that I want to start, but I also really want to make sure that I'm finishing or at least catching up with the stuff that I already have going. So yeah, that's my book haul / TBR / pile of possibilities for March. Yeah, if let me know in the comments if there's if any of these books appeal to you, if you've read any of them, or what are you planning to read in March? Do you have any series that you started the series and really liked it and then just kind of forgot to read the rest? If you have a similar problem as me, let me know in the comments. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.